Geometry Dash and its community has evolved heavily throughout its lifetime. We've seen so many talented players and creators join the community and leave, giving the rest of us something to look back on. Nowadays, it's easy to see the legacies that these top personalities have left on our community, because almost every single popular GD player has some sort of social media profile that we can all look at. Whether you're the top player on the Demons list or the #1 creator, we can easily just take a look at their videos, tweets, and other forms of content. It's no doubt that the Geometry Dash community has never been as big as it is now. You can argue that it was at its biggest and best stage during the so-called 1.9 golden era. But when we look at player counts and audience numbers, it's clear that it's never been this big before. Back when the Geometry Dash community was smaller, we wouldn't really see some of the top players with these big YouTube channels gaining hundreds of thousands of views on every video. Instead, players would mainly try to stay relevant through the in-game leaderboards. Nevertheless, word would still spread about some of these players. Because the community was smaller, every one of the big players seemed somewhat close, thanks to creator teams, big Discord servers, and more. And so, we had people like C, who was able to provide commentary and updates on what was going on in the game's community. But it was a little difficult to get information on a select handful, mainly because of difference in language. The GD community is not only limited to people that speak English. Some of the biggest parts of the game include the Spanish, Russian, and Korean speaking communities, and lots of others as well. And so when we factor in the game's small player base at the time, and this language barrier, you can imagine it was hard to keep up with certain individuals. Considering this, there was still one player that caught everyone's attention. This player, part of the Korean community, spent a pretty long time nearing the top of the star grinding leaderboards. But this player was a little suspicious to many, mainly because of unnatural growth in his stats. He was a pretty big deal, but one day, his name and account suddenly vanished, and we never got a conclusion on what happened to this player. Consider subscribing if you do enjoy the video. Thank you. Exotic is the name of this former Geometry Dash star grinder. Back in 1.9, he managed to climb to the top of the player leaderboards, but his name was surrounded by speculation on whether he was a legitimate player or not. There were countless discussions on the GD forums about Exotic. As soon as he hit top 1, the hacking allegations started coming in. Two different players claimed that they noticed the demon count on Exotic's profile went up by a questionable amount one day. One noticed that this amount of demons beaten was nearly impossible, especially when we're talking about beating 30 demons in a single day. Here, this player makes a very good point. In today's age of Geometry Dash, there are well over 6,000 rated demon levels, but back in 1.9, it wasn't even close to this amount. And so this player claimed that past 500 demons or so, you'll only find some of the hardest levels in the game at the time, and all this suggests that Exotic was doing something to alter his stats. But here, it starts to get a little deep. One day, Exotic's account vanished from the charts. Some thought he got banned from the leaderboard because of all the hacking accusations. However, even performing a simple search of his GD profile would return with nothing. His profile had completely disappeared. Some players had speculated that all the pressure from the community caused him to delete his account, but the real answer, we didn't really know. From here on, Exotic went silent, but on October 15th, 2015, what seemed to be the real Exotic posted a concerning message to his Twitter profile that shocked the entire Geometry Dash community. During this time, there was a virus spreading throughout South Korea known as MERS, short for Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, which caused a severe illness. In his tweet, Exotic claimed that he had a viral infection and that it was his last day alive, which is horrible. Exotic posted one last message before his Twitter account went dark for good. This Twitter account that he posted this on is no longer up. There is someone with his exact Twitter handle and branding. However, it is almost certain that this person is impersonating the real Exotic. There is also a new Geometry Dash profile under Exotic's name with his exact icons, but it's also likely that this is a fake account, as the person speaks a different language to what Exotic spoke. There are rumors that Exotic's original Geometry Dash account was renamed. As we can see here, this profile by the name of Joker Hack shares similarities with Exotic's old profile. For example, it has no leaderboard position, meaning there could be a leaderboard ban on this account. On this profile, we see a status update of "It's Showtime," which was posted after his final tweet. Whether or not the real Exotic posted this is unknown. Any exotic account, or any account that was assumed to have belonged to him, has remained inactive ever since, but that hasn't stopped the theories from storming in. One of the more controversial theories that the community came up with is that he faked his death in order to quit from the Geometry Dash community for good. Why he would do such a thing is unknown, and this theory is very much unproven, and it's basically impossible to find a real answer. As the years passed, we saw many different people come out and claim that they in fact were the real exotic. One example of this that particularly stood out was when a person came out claiming to be exotic, started admitting to former GD YouTuber Sills that he never actually had a virus, and instead he quit because he supposedly felt bad for hacking his way to the top of the leaderboards. This piece of evidence was given to Sills, which is a screenshot of Exotic's in-game profile that has never been seen anywhere before. Even if you were to try to search this image up, you wouldn't find it anywhere on the internet, meaning it was an original picture. Sills would post a now deleted YouTube video in an effort to spread the word that Exotic had returned and was in fact alive after a few years of inactivity, but many were skeptical of the whole situation. C, the popular GD commentary YouTuber at the time, posted a video explaining why this Exotic situation was likely not true. He explains that the screenshot provided by this Exotic impersonator could have easily been faked by simply changing the name of an unregistered GD profile in the icon kit. This whole thing caused a disturbance in the community. As people continued to doubt that Exotic had actually returned, hate started flooding towards Sills and other people in the Geometry Dash community that reported on this, such as Geometry Dash Drama. In C's video, he sent some shots at people that tried to spread misinformation like this throughout the community, and he stated that the community needed to do a better job at being a little more careful before making such big claims that an old legend had returned. This whole attempt to impersonate Exotic started to fall apart, and it was eventually proven to be fake. There are still people that try to impersonate Exotic, and many people still think that Exotic didn't actually pass away, and that he just wanted an excuse to quit. Some even say that the original Twitter account with the final message was a faked account, and that was also someone impersonating Exotic. But the fact that this final message correlated with Exotic's disappearance from the community makes this whole thing even more strange. The discussions, the theories, and the arguments never seem to stop. It can still be considered a big topic in the Geometry Dash community today, as we near update 2.2. Even basic information about Exotic was beginning to be questioned. Some players on the GD forums started to question whether he was even Korean, as there was a large Korean GD forum at the time that Exotic never took part in. There just seems to be too many different mysteries surrounding Exotic's name, and to this day, we never found out what happened to Exotic, and it's looking likely that we simply will never know the real truth.